Welcome to the Climate and Water Outlook for Autumn 2022. It's looking like we're heading for a relatively wet and warm autumn for many regions, but first, let's take a look at the recent conditions. Following Australia's wettest November on record, summer rainfall remained above average for much of central and southeast Australia. Extreme rainfall in South Australia saw many communities isolated by flooding. Despite this, summer rainfall was close to average for Australia overall, with Tasmania on track to have one of its 3 driest summers on record. Summer daytime temperatures have been warmer than average for most of the country, except for parts of South Australia and New South Wales. 3 sites in Western Australia recorded a maximum temperature over 50 degrees, with Onslow equaling the Australian and Southern Hemisphere record of 50.7 on the 13th of January. The rainfall distribution is reflected in the February soil moisture levels, which are relatively low in WA and Western Tasmania and higher in Central Australia and parts of the east. Water storage levels are higher in many regions than compared to this time in 2021, including those in the Murray-Darling Basin and the southeast coast, and further north in the Tanami Timor Sea coast and the northeast coast. So what will influence our climate in the coming months? La Niña is currently still active, with cooler than normal waters persisting in the central and eastern Pacific, while the western Pacific remains warm. But with the outlook suggesting a return to neutral ENSO levels, neither La Niña or El Niño around mid-autumn, this La Niña is likely past its peak. So what does this mean for the autumn outlook? Autumn is likely to be wetter than normal for many areas, including parts of eastern and central Australia already impacted by summer floods. In 2022, the first significant rainfall of the crop and pasture growing season, known as the autumn break, is likely to occur at a normal to later than normal time compared to recent decades. The Streamflow outlook for February to April suggests high flows are likely to continue for streams and rivers at most locations, particularly in the southeast. High stream flows, wet soils, and forecasts of above average rainfall means the risk of widespread flooding across parts of eastern Australia remains high. Looking at the temperature outlooks, much of the north, west coast, and parts of the southeast are likely to see higher than average daytime temperatures this autumn, with only parts of eastern New South Wales likely to be cooler than average. Autumn nighttime temperatures, on the other hand, are likely to be higher than normal Australia-wide. A wetter forecast and recent conditions means normal to below normal fire potential in many forested areas east of the Great Dividing Range. However, following a dry and hot summer, autumn fire potential is increased in the southwest and Gascoyne regions of WA, as well as southeast parts of South Australia. Australia's severe weather season runs from October to April. Bushfires, floods, and tropical cyclones may continue to pose significant risks during autumn. Last year, autumn saw tropical cyclone Seroja strike Western Australia and major floods impact large parts of New South Wales. So, in summary, autumn is likely to see above average rainfall for large parts of the country, warmer than average days and nights across much of the country, high stream flows at most locations with an increased risk of widespread flooding and increased bushfire risk in parts of the west. You can find out more about the outlooks on the Bureau's website, and we'll see you next time.